What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today what we're going to be installing is this JDI Ghost key push to start on a 2000 Honda Civic. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll go through the whole process. Well, let's go ahead and actually start with what's inside. So you have your control box with a ghost key and then some fobs, your wiring harness, your this is the one that you use. Actually, you scan the card on this, so you're going to install it somewhere in the car. And then, of course, your push to start. All right, so the first thing you want to do is go ahead and loosen up this bolt for the negative. It's a 10 millimeter. And then we can remove this and just place it somewhere over here. And then we'll get over here under the dash, under the steering wheel, and we're going to remove a few bolts. So you have one right here. There's another one underneath it right over here. And then when we go all the way to the right, there is one right over here. And we'll actually also remove this cover for the bottom, the one that's on the bottom of the steering wheel. So there's one, two, there's gonna be a third, and I believe a fourth right here. No, sorry, just this third. So one, two, and then one, two, and then three right here. So we'll remove this cover as well. All right, so I like to work fast. I'm just gonna use my drill, get all these screws out. There's one. Here's another one right here. Okay. The other one that we have on the right side is right over here, and it's super hard to do this while you're recording. I'm trying. All right. And this panel is held down by some clips. So as you pull it down, do it gently. Your cover for your where your fuse box is might come down as well. If you have one, there are some clips, so that's why you have to kind of be gentle with it as you're pulling it down. But your cover should come off as so. Now you can choose to keep this on here, or you can remove it completely if you want some space. If you do, then you do have to unplug some stuff. I mean, I have my, the mirror control, the side mirror control, and in my case, I do have a plug here for the fog lights, which I no longer have on the car, and then some other stuff. But the next thing we want to do, we'll go ahead and remove this cover. So once you get those screws, I never removed the screws actually. So for this cover, we want to remove these screws, and we're removing this cover because we need to get access to the ignition. So one, two, and then the third one in the center there. All right, that's three. You just pop this out as well. All right, and then that will come out. We can do the same for the top. In my case, I have to be careful because I have my alarm system. So I'll just kind of keep this to the side for now. And next, what we want to remove is this bracket. So it's held down by a 10 millimeter bolt right here. And then there's another one back there if you see it. All right, so first 10 millimeter. And then the other 10 millimeter that you guys may or may not be able to see is back here. All right, so let's pull it up a little bit and take it out of the way. Another thing that we want to do, obviously in our case, we're removing the factory ignition. And in order to do so, if we look at the top here, now in my case, this is different because the ignition is not the factory ignition. It was replaced. In my case, this is an 8 millimeter socket. This is going to fit on top. And then I'll go ahead and remove this. Now, in your case, you may need to use a chisel to chisel out this screws, I believe, that are there, just to remove this bracket here. All right, so I loosen these up. Basically, once I remove these, and in your case, it's also going to be a screw. You just, like I said, you may have to chisel it out, and then this top bracket would come off. Then if you just grab your ignition, of course, there's a harness here that we'll have to remove. In my case, is a zip tie, which I'm going to cut, but this will come out. This was the top of it. And again, just so you guys kind of understand the idea, this was on top, right? And it was screwed into this one right here. So that's what was holding down this ignition. So remove any harness, any zip tie, and then you can get this out of the way. All right, so the next step, guys, is I have a few things zip tied because is the fact that I have a security system in here. But there's a brown the harness right here. You want to unplug this one, and then there's another one that's brown, which is right down over here. So if you guys can see this one right here, and then there's one right here that's mounted to the frame. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this one and remove that one. And then basically the wiring, if you just follow it, this whole thing that we unplugged from the ignition will come out. You can just pull it out. Of course, we may have to deal with some zip ties if that's the case. And then we can go to the next step. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So first harness, on the top here, there's a tab at the bottom. You want to push it in and pull this top harness out. I'll just do that. So that's the first one. Now the other harness that's plugged in over here. Again, you guys may or may not be able to see there's a tab on the top. Push it down and remove that. Okay. I went a step further. I did plug this into here. I mean, you don't have to do it just yet. But I did take my harness and I plugged it into that. And then the second one, as you can see, running to the back one, the other one that we took off. And then I took this one and I grounded it right over here. So for the push to start, I did just get the one that comes with the kit. I'm gonna go ahead and run the wire through from the other side. And the way you work this button pretty much is you have to bend these tabs just enough so they can actually fit. Make sure they all fit in there. Hopefully without breaking them. If we look at the back here, it's a tight fit. So they say that this is supposed to fit without any cutting required. Now, in my case, this area right here is actually hitting the edge here. So what I actually have to do is I have to kind of trim around the edge here just to give it a little more space so it can fit. All right, guys. So it's it's the next day. I was actually working on this pretty late yesterday. And this is two important things I want to know. First and foremost, the button. It does come with this that's usually behind the button, which I believe is the reason why it actually fits a little bit more flush. In my case, I kind of didn't want it. It just looked so bulky, so I decided to remove it. I did have to do a little bit of trimming, and then just to give it an extra tight hold, I used some Gorilla Tape to hold it in the back here. It may or may not hold, but I mean the when you bend these back, it does a pretty good, decent job. But I just wanted to give it the extra support. So that's one. I did again, like I said, I did have to trim around a little bit just to kind of make it fit so that it's pretty flush. So that was one. The second thing is I have a security system in my vehicle. I have Viper security system in my vehicle. So it was not just plug and play. So if you do have a Civic with no security system, then it is pretty much plug and play. You remove your ignition harness. You have your two right here. The smaller one goes towards the back, and then the bigger one is usually mounted um at the top there. So in my case, I didn't have a security system, so you can see here how there was some splicing that happened and so forth. If you do have a security system and you have it wired to your ignition system, then you will have to do a little bit of, well, it was a headache for me because I had to figure out which wire is what, and not really just for the wires that come with the JDI Ghost key. I also had to figure out what each wire from the factory ignition harness was. So this is basically the trickiest part for me because I had to look it up. I have to see what each wire, the colors does. I mean, I only had a few plugged in, so to the security system. So it was, there was one, two, um, three, four. And then I think there was a fifth, if I'm not mistaken. So that was the struggle that I went through, and I'm sure not a lot of people are probably going to be installing this if they have a Viper or any security system, especially if you're wiring. So before you even if you don't know what you got going on, my recommendation is, you know, open up this dash, remove the covers and so forth, and just follow the ignition wire that was coming through here, because this one, of course, was it was running through right in here, and just look at it and see if it's just all protected with the with whatever you call this. And if it's not, if it looks like it was tampered into, and then there's some wires that were spliced in there and so forth, of course, then you know that your system actually tapped into that, so that like, for example, if your car is armed, and somebody breaks in, they're not able to turn on your car and so forth. If it's just nothing is going into it, then you're in luck and you can pretty much just plug and play. So if you see here on the left hand side, this is the stock ignition harness, and then the security system, these little wires basically are spliced into it. On the right hand side here, guys, is the JDI Ghost key harness, and then you can see the splicing that I did from my security system wires into the harness. And then if you see here, this picture right here, this one I got from online. Now it does, I believe it's for the 1999 to 2000 Civic. I could be wrong, but I would definitely look online and verify the information instead of working off of this one. And I know this can be a little bit hard to see as I kind of explain it, and but I will try to do my best here. So what you want to do first is know which wire from your security system is spliced into when it comes to the stock ignition, and then we're going to do cross-reference basically. For example, if you see here this yellow wire, this one is spliced into a black and yellow wire of the stock ignition. And if we look at the diagram here, what's black and yellow? Black and yellow is ignition 1. Now we look at the main wire harness for the JDI, and ignition 1 is white. So basically what I have to do is take that yellow wire and splice it into the white wire of the JDI, and which is exactly what I did here. So that's the yellow one, I spliced it into the white one. Now this kind of looks like it's black and white, but it's just because of this. When I cut it, I didn't do a great job cleaning it up before I took this picture. So the next example here is the starter. The starter is black and white. Now you'll notice that there is white and black as well here. It varies basically. If you see this, white and black is accessory, heater, blower. When you see the first color, black and white, that means black is overpowering the white. So black and white in this example is the starter, and as you can see, it's spliced into a black cable. And then you'll notice here, right here, is the other side of the black and white that's spliced into this teal or green, blue, whatever color that you see spliced into it. So this basically section right here was actually all one cable from here to here. So it was cut in half and then spliced into two different cables for my security system. Now, black and white, again, is starter. And then if we look at the main wiring harness for JDI, the starter one is yellow. And then if we look at the picture on the right here, yellow, I spliced it into the black. And then you can see the other side of the yellow here that I cut in half. And I spliced it into this teal wire, same as this. Another example, and for this example, I'm actually going to start on the right-hand side because it's a little bit hard to see on this picture. So the red cable that you see here is spliced into, for my security system, is spliced into the red of the JDI harness. And red is a constant 12 volt, okay? And then if we look at the picture here, the 12 volt constant is white, which is this one right here. And I know you can't see the red, and that's why I started from the other side. There was some splicing that happened here. I just, for some reason, I can't even see it in this picture whatsoever, the red cable. But that's exactly how I did it. So you want to do that. You want to verify first every cable from your security system, what it is spliced into when it comes to the stock ignition. And then you'll do your cross-reference and make sure you splice it into the correct cable for the JDI harness. So if you're doing this, I recommend taking as many pictures as you can, note down what's connected to what, understand what each one does, its function, before you start removing cables and then spend who knows how long to figure out does what goes where and what does what. Um, just one last note that I want to make here is this: make sure you do also a good job when it comes to splicing cables into the JDI harness. The picture you see here on the right hand side, it's not final. I actually did redo some of the splicing just to ensure everything was working before I tucked everything away. So I'll leave it at that. You can see the rest of the video, everything else I've done. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comment. So now that our button is in, next we have this to mount. Now this is what you use to activate, you're using your keys, you activate it before you're able to start your vehicle. Now most people, and you can do the same, they just mount it somewhere around here with some type of, double-sided tape and or whatnot. In my case, I am not going to do that. I'm not gonna do what everybody else is doing. I'm gonna mount it somewhere else in the vehicle. I mean, the wire, the cable is pretty long enough to mount it somewhere else. I'm not gonna disclose that location in this video, but you can, use your imagination, and figure out somewhere where you want to mount this that's not only convenient but also disclosed, of course. So I'm gonna go in, get into that, and then I'm gonna pretty much just put my bracket back on right here, and then I'm gonna organize all these cables, zip tie whatever I need to zip tie, and then make it look nice and neat. Close everything up, and I'll show you guys how it works. All right, guys. So I got my loop antenna on, and basically we'll start by, we have to do some organization, but we do have to put this on. And if you look at the back here, there's a hook there and a hook on the other side, and you want those hooks to hook on that rectangle area, and then the same for the other side. You want to get it on, and then both sides, so you do need both hands for the most part, and then it just sits like so on that side, and then the same thing on that side. Okay, and then you have your 10mm bolts, which I put right here. So we'll put those on, and then we'll tighten it, and then we can work to get this cleaned up a little bit. All right, guys, so I didn't get to finish. I think where I left off was putting everything back. It's really just a reverse process. You you put your panels back on, clip them in, put the screws on, once you do your cable cleanup and all that stuff, wire tucking. It actually has been about a year now, so I decided to kind of wait things out, see how things are going, how it's working, and it's been great actually. Um, Push the stars right there. Again, I didn't include the little rubber seal thing. It just fits, it looks a lot better this way. So yeah. So basically, you have the card, you have your key fob, you scan your key fob. If you don't have your foot on the brake, and you click once and then you click twice, they'll have it on mode. My lock automatically, my doors automatically lock. So if I turn it off, I'll automatically unlock. So I got that to work because my security system, that's how it used to be. And then foot on the brake and press of a button, and that will turn it on. So I noticed that if I forgot my car in reverse or something, it won't actually turn on. That's good. If you don't have your foot on the brake and you press it, nothing will happen. You do have to press your foot on the brake, and then you click it once, and it'll turn it off. So far, it's been great. If you guys have any questions, drop it in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you guys on the next one.